Hello, today I'm going to teach you how to factor a degree 4 polynomial. So when we begin, we just use the factor and remainder theorem, which is when we take the factors of the first and last coefficient. So when we do so, for the first coefficient we get plus or minus 1 as a factor, and when we do so for the last coefficient we get plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 4. So then when we move on, we just take one of the factors, we input it into the equation like so, we input -1 into the equation, we solve for it, and then we get 0. Now that's an indication that 1 is a factor in the polynomial. So then we move on to synthetic division. We take the 1, we place it outside here as a divisor, we take all the coefficients, place it on top here, and then we just continue down so, using proper synthetic division. At the end, when we have a remainder, it's going to be 16 plus -16, which gives us 0. The remainder should always be 0. So then when we finish, these numbers at the bottom become our new coefficients. We take the coefficients from the previous equation and we drop it down by 1 exponent, which gives us x to the power of 3 plus 4x to the power of 2 minus 4x minus 16. So then we take 1, we do a mental switch, which gives us our first root in the equation. Okay. Now we have to factor this equation right here. So then we just take the same factor we used before, input it, but then we get -15, which we know is not a factor. So then we would take the next factor, which would be -1, input it into the equation, we get a -9, so then we have to try again. We use the next one, which is +2, input it into the equation, then we get 0. And that indicates that 2 is a factor in the equation. So we do the same thing we did before, synthetic division. Take the coefficients, place them on top. Okay, we take 2, place it as a divisor over here, and then we just continue like so. Remember, remainder should always be 0 since this is a factor. Then we take the coefficients and then we place them in here like so. Remember, variable drops down by 1 exponent, gives us x to the power of 2 plus 6x plus 8, and then we take 2, use a mental switch, which gives us our second root, and then we just factor this. We could use decomp, or we can just factor this in our heads by thinking of 2 values which times to get us 8 and which add up to give us 6. Then we take -1 from the previous synthetic division and then give us our root over here. Now we have factored the entire equation. We move on, we have all the zeros right here, and then we just find the y-intercept by substituting 0 into the equation, which gives us 16, and then we have to find one extra point, which makes our graph more precise. I chose -1, but you could choose another point. Doesn't really matter exactly. I mean, you want to think logically. So then you input -1 to the equation, you get 18. Now you have all the information you need to graph this polynomial. So then when you graph it, or actually wait, before you graph it, you still need to determine what the end behavior is. So this is a degree 4 polynomial, and x is larger than 0, which tells us that both the left and the right is going to be facing upwards. Now you have everything you need to graph. So then your graph is going to look like this. Remember, you place arrows at the end of the equation. Hello, today I'm going to teach you how to factor a degree 4 polynomial.